Hello, hello, hello. Good day to you. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me. If you're here with me live, thank you for being with me live here today. And if you're here on the replay, that's A-OK too. Just put hashtag replay in the comments so that I know that you stopped by to visit with me today. Today's topic is still in alignment with Self-Care Awareness Month being the month of September. So we are in Self-Care September still. And today's topic is simple self-care can inspire. And if you've not met me before, my name is Yaminah. I go by Coach Yamz, and I'm the owner of Healing is Work Coaching, where I help women to stop doing shit out of obligation so that they can live life on their terms. So many years we have been giving of ourselves and performing for what other people require of us or what we think society, religion, whatever requires of us. We ain't got to live like this no more, y'all. We ain't got to. And I'm here to help inspire you to do that. And so let's get right into this topic. Simple self-care can inspire. And so what is self-care? Self-care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. And so the thing I want to kind of dive more into today is affirmations. And affirmations are just short, powerful statements. And so some of the things that we do to ourselves, we are usually our biggest critic. We have the most criticism for ourselves. Whenever something doesn't go the way that we intend for it to go, we tell ourselves stories and put those on replay in our minds. We allow other people to project their stories on us, and we let that live rent-free and play on repeat in our mind. And then these things become beliefs, and then we stop believing in ourselves because we're carrying the weight of everybody else's shit on us. And we talk bad to ourselves. Most of us are not kind to ourselves. We have to call her after the live. And then one of the other things that we do, hey, Candace's mom, thank you for joining me. We don't slow down and celebrate our wins. And so if you're anything like me, there was a time where I would do a thing and then I'm on to the next thing and I'm on to the next thing. I never took time to actually appreciate the fact that I had accomplished whatever it is that I was working to accomplish. And I was just always on to the next. But it's no fun if the only thing that you're doing is just trying to get to this far off place that you can't seem to ever reach because the bar moves every time you continue to jump for the next thing without ever appreciating the journey that you're on to get where you're trying to go to. And then we also look for external validation versus trusting ourselves. And so 3 tips that I want to give today are going to be tips to help you just have more self-care in your life. There's no right or wrong way to do self-care, to be a part of self-care, to experience it. You have to practice different things. You have to try different things and see what works for you. But the 3 tips that I have for you today is tip number 1. You are going to celebrate how far you've come. And this can look like journaling, where you sit down and write out what it is that you may have overcome, or just reading previous journal entries. That's something that I like to do. I love pulling out my old journals from a year or 2 ago and just reading through the things that I have gone through and how I used to handle things versus how I currently handle things. And it's a boost of inspiration in my opinion. This can also look like just having 5 minutes of reflection with yourself about situations that you've overcome in recent history. And then we have tip number 2, which is to decide where you want to go next. So while you know where you've been and you know what you don't want, focusing on what you don't want is not going to get you to where. Okay, I got 2 phone calls to make when I get off this live. And so Tip number 2 is to decide where you want to go next. And so just like when you hop in a car and you put in your destination in your GPS, if you don't put the destination in, how do you know how to start navigating in the direction that you need to go in? And this can look like just spending 5 to 10 minutes with your eyes closed and just thinking about where it is that you want to be 6 months from now. How do you want your life to look in the area of your finances, in the area of relationships with yourself or relationships with other people? How do you want your health to be, like physically, eating habit wise, whatever health looks like for you? If you may be on medication and don't want to take that anymore, what do you want some point in the future? What do you want your life to look like? Get a visual together in your mind of that, because that is what kind of like brings it closer to reality, and then you have a direction to actually work towards. And then tip number 3 would be to write and repeat affirmations. And so short and powerful statements is what affirmations is. I have different affirmations that I've written for different areas of my life. But essentially the baseline of an affirmation is I am fill in the blank. And so I am enough. I am working a job that I love. I am powerful in things that I do, and I make a huge impact in other people's lives, and that makes me happy. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever your life's desires, whatever your heart's desires, I am affirmations. Just insert in there, I am, whatever it is that you want it to be. So yeah, those are my 3 tips. Just to recap, you want to celebrate how far you've come. You want to decide where you want to go next, and you want to write and repeat affirmations. Hey, Aretha, thank you for joining me, girl. And so doing these 3 things, you will build confidence. You will learn to trust yourself, because you'll have that validation coming from within. You will feel encouraged by all that you've done and that you've overcome. It's going to give you motivation to keep pushing forward. Whenever you feel like you've gotten into a rut of something, you can't overcome that hump, you're going to be like, you know what? I did such and such back then, and it was hard. And look at me now. I barely even think about it, except I needed a little bit of motivation. Yeah. And then also you taking charge, doing things for yourself, loving yourself. You give other people the courage and the permission to do the same thing. And sometimes that's all we need, is just a little bit of borrowed courage from somebody else. So I like to say, be the change you want to see. One of these people who were important said that. I don't know who exactly, but I like to live by it. It's a good motto in my opinion. Anywho, my suggested resource for this week is the I Am Affirmations app. I personally use it, pay about $25 a year, and they just drop in affirmations based on whatever categories you pick. And they'll send them throughout the day. And so having those reminders throughout the day that everything's going to be okay, that life is good, that I'm striving towards what it is that my end goal is, it allows me to enjoy the journey as it unfolds. Just a little bonus. Also, I have other things like daily meditation books, like this one here. It's got a little excerpt that you read every single day. And it just kind of helps keep me in check, because I did grow up around codependency. Another thing, if you ever have trouble with trying to come up with what you're going to talk about, or whatever topics that, you may need to be trying to unpack, but you don't know where to start, get you a journaling book. This one here, I just started recently, by Nancy Levin. And it's 8 weeks to change your life, because she challenges you to ask questions and have some introspection. And that's what we need to have growth. So yeah, that's all I got for you for Self-Care September. If you would like to book a time with me, I am giving away 1 free coaching session per person for the month of September to work through one challenge that it is that you may be experiencing in life right now. If you've never experienced life coaching, if you need somebody to give you that little extra piece of confidence that maybe you don't have yourself, or just to help kind of point you in a direction, because maybe you're feeling all over the place. You've never experienced life coaching. You've never really dabbled in therapy. come give it a go. It doesn't cost you anything except a little piece of your time. It's an hour. And we're just going to talk about whatever it is that you've got going on. So if you're interested in that, you would go to chatwithyamz.com to book that. That's chatwithyamz.com. Thank you for joining me. If you got something great from this, put something in the comments, tag a friend, let people know that I'm here every Monday at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And join me again next week where I'll give you about 10 minutes of goodness and food for thought to implement in your life so that you can start living the life that you want for yourself. Take care until next week.